Hi, I'm Franka Soeria. I what I can say, I do most of the things modest fashion. I am the co-founder of Modest Fashion Week. I have a company in Southeast Asia called MARKAMARIE. It's like what is it? It's like the hub of modest fashion for not only for modest fashion, for creative industry in Southeast Asia. I have also Think Fashion, my company in Turkey. I do so many things. I do special projects like with on the social movement, like with the refugee. I have Benang project. It's to empower the refugee to do fashion, to kind of empower them, because a lot of refugee in Indonesia, around 14,000 refugees. So what I'm trying to do is just to lift their spirit by doing creative things. And then I did Modest Fashion Funders Fund with Indonesian government to connect the brands with the funding. So I do a lot of things, and recently I just do a book. I tell all my journey in a book called Random Thoughts of Franka, a guide to find yourself. It's about finding identity, in your career and everything. And then I'm doing a book about modest fashion. Hopefully, gonna publish in 2022. It's a big project. Hopefully, hopefully, yeah, hopefully, great brands can join my projects. Fast fashion is actually a new category of style, which is the character is covered, more loose, and then not tight and not transparent. It's actually a style that is dedicated for all women who wants to look, more modest. So Muslim fashion, the hijab one is a part of modest fashion. So modest fashion doesn't mean hijab, and then hijab doesn't mean, hijab is a part of the bigger picture, which is modest fashion. I think this is why modest fashion accepted worldwide. I mean, a lot of women actually they like to look modest. They like to dress more covered, but in the past they don't have a example on how to do it. And right now, like with all the things happening, like with modest fashion weeks, also with influencers and the brands, I think a lot of women get inspired and they like the style. So what we say, if women have the right to wear open clothes, then it means they also have the right to wear covered clothes, and it's not exclusive only to hijabi. But in the past, I did a lot of career before, not only fashion. One day I landed my job in fashion, and at that time I find a very trendy group of hijabi women trying to create modern urban style. And then it was in Indonesia. It wasn't popular at that time. I mean, Indonesia is a Muslim country, but Muslim fashion or hijabi doesn't considered as stylish. So I was seeing this group of people, and I was working in one of the biggest media in Indonesia. We have 1 million readers, so I have that power to make them famous. So what I do is I write them, and then at the same time I was also interviewing Hana Tajima, the Uniqlo, and then some other international people. So kind of make this. I was one of the first journalists who brought this in Indonesia, and then it makes the other journalists also write about it, and then it become very trendy. So when I come to Turkey, I marry a Turkish man. So I moved to Turkey. I didn't think that Turkey has that amazing Muslim fashion or modest fashion industry. I didn't know that. And then I realized we have this gap, because there's no platform where everyone can know everyone. Like Indonesia doesn't know what happened in Turkey, Turkey doesn't know what happened in Indonesia, and also in other country as well. So I have this project called allahhijab.com. I was the co-founder. It was a collaboration between Turkey and London. It was like a Pinterest of hijab fashion. It was basically an empty website when I joined, and then I need to fill it with styles from around the world of hijab fashion. So at that time, I knock the door of every brand around the world to join and upload their lookbook to the website. That's how I know everyone. And from that experience, I know that people really don't know each other. They're not connected at all. I see very amazing brands. I see amazing influencer. I see amazing media or community or some sort of initiative, startups, but no one knows each other. So at that time in online, Allah Hijab was not successful because we couldn't compete with Pinterest, right? Or other mainstream social media. So, but as a offline connection, I can say I know everyone. So I said, what should I do? Like, I have the database already. I know everyone, and then the community is in the hand, and I know how to make events. So before I fly to Turkey, before I move, I was involved in one of the biggest event in Indonesia as one of the brain. So I said I know how to make event, and then I have everyone. So I say what to do. Then we say there is no professional event yet in Europe. I mean, there are things happening, but more like bazaar, like
Yes.
more like sisterhood kind of stuff. So I said, okay, let's make like international event where we really put the best for modest fashion. At that time, we could still call it hijab fashion. Then when by the time we want to name it, I really research what is the proper name. At that time, there is a term modest fashion, but it wasn't famous. If you compare Islamic fashion, hijab fashion, uh, we check with Google Analytics, it's not too famous, but we say, oh, modest fashion, I think it's more cater to everyone because we want the style to speak not only to Muslim, because we really believe the style is actually, you know, all women deserve to enjoy the style, to cover it, to feel elegant, so we choose modest fashion. So I think our choice really make the term very popular, right? The first event was success. I say it not only because everyone that I get the connection from Allah Hijab came, it's directly 30 countries came. I can say 100% the connection, international connection, I do it by myself. It was 70%. I say I was sick at that time, because I work every time, but then what happened is because I was a journalist as well, I create the angle, right? The press release, how to make it catchy with the mainstream media. I can say we put the recipe pretty well, and then before the event is already popped, like in US, it was in NPR, National Radio, and then become big. There is Associated Press coming, interviewing us. So they really get the message, because the first time everyone gathered was in my event, like everyone, like even from Africa also come, it's amazing. So it was a success. And then everyone at that time was saying, why you only do it over there in Istanbul? It has to be also in Europe, in Middle East. So that's why we decided to make it traveling event, because of this. So yeah, until now it's already almost six. It's already six event. We are going to do the seventh. Istanbul, London, Dubai, Jakarta, Amsterdam. It was amazing experience from 2016. I can say I always live in one country for short term. I becoming a nomad. But like by the time you do it, you really feel it. Okay, modest fashion shouldn't be just about covering, but we need to give more meaning. So we started to put disabled runway, runway for disabled creator designers brand, and then also refugee, because we say if you do mainstream, because I was from mainstream fashion, so I say in mainstream fashion, fashion means exclusive, right? I said modest fashion has to have its modest approach. So we say, why don't we just be really inclusive? If you want to join Modest Fashion Week, you don't need to be senior or very famous. Even new ones also can join. Even if you are a plus size designer, you can join. Even we have also for kids wear as well. I mean, we are very inclusive because this is a very niche market. We don't want to be, too exclusive. We want it to be like the stage for everyone, right? And this is what we do. Even until now, we really try to be still, what is it? Like to be on our own without any investor, because we want to be able to do social things, you know we want to put value, like this is what happened. So like we say, Modest Fashion Week really being built by blood and tears. It's not easy, right? Sometimes, for example, okay, in Jakarta you do events, it's a Muslim majority country, okay, right? But you do in Europe, which is, Muslim, has another challenges, right? Of course, it comes all the challenges with the sponsor, with the Islamophobia, those kind of stuff. So yeah, I said until now, whatever achievement we make is directly organic, and then it's really from modest person for modest community, I can say like that, with a mainstream approach and mainstream result. Actually, when they do it first time, okay, for example, the thing about our community, because for a long time we want to be recognized by the mainstream, so whatever happened, for example, oh, the first hijabi doing the first hijabi, we are just clapping, like um we don't really know, some of the companies just want to use us as a market. They just want to use, for example, I know a brand which is using a model which is using hijab. Then when we approach them, for example, to say, hey, we see you supporting the modest community, why don't you appear in the event? You don't need to pay, just to come and then some sort of like saying, supportive, and then what they say was like, I don't support anything politic. And I say, what do you mean? Yes, because I think modest fashion is politic. Then I said, how come? I said, you are using hijabi to sell your products. Yeah, but that's it. I don't want to step further. You know what I mean? That's why,
Yeah.
like, as much as I can speak to the media, I can say, listen, I know you are trying to use us only as the market, but sooner or later people knows about it. People, because modest fashion community is actually pretty, what is that, pretty strong in sisterhood. It just because of our insecurity, sometimes we clap a lot. Someone is doing a hijab, for example, hijab sport, directly clapping, while actually we have brands doing it before. from the modest community, but we don't get proper recognition, because we are small. That's what I'm saying. What I say to the event, in the talk shows, usually I say, why don't we just really say, hey, look, we are proud of our market. It's a big market already. That's why you want to come to us. But hey, sorry, we have also our own star. We have also our own designers. We have our own event. We have our own initiative. That's why we need this kind of thing, because the reality is we are big, and then we are more, what is that, solid as a market. We are not like mainstream fashion now is very, sporadic, right? Like it's pretty hard to some sort of press them to buy something, while modest fashion is pretty easier, you know what I say, for example, brands, they are doing modest fashion, but sometimes what makes me sad is they don't really follow the guideline. Like they make it too tight, they make it shorter. What I'm saying is, or transparent. What I'm saying, if you really want to enter the market, you need to listen more. You need to maybe. We really hope one day there is a mainstream brand who is collaborating with the modest talent, not only influencer or model, but as a talent. Like embrace them, and give them some sort of place to show themselves. I think that's kind of a dream. Like right now, what I say as one of a good sample, maybe Uniqlo, if I can mention a brand, because she's collaborating with Hana Tajima, which is, it's a good thing. Hana knows what to create because she wear it, you know what I mean, right? Not only use the hijab as a model, but we expect them to do more, to involve us more if they want to win the market. I think it's about time, I'd say. Uh, I think it's all started from the customer itself. Like I think that's why, even though now a lot of mainstream brands trying to do modest fashion, always remember why it happens, why modest fashion is happening. Because there is not much what is that options in the market, and then there suddenly we have our own creators of modest fashion trying to do something, try to some sort of support this, the small business. I know maybe in price point sometimes it's hard to be cheaper than the mainstream, but you are buying value. I can say you are buying value because you know we just don't want this to be just like a trend, as I say again. If we forget why modest fashion appeared in the first hand, and then I don't know, maybe the mainstream brands will just consider as a trend and it's not happening anymore. So we need this. We need all this. Even though no matter how big it is, modest fashion, we need to have this sisterhood spirit all the time. I know, like for example, in terms of payment, for example, if mainstream fashion want to endorse influencer, they will pay more maybe than the modest small businesses, of course, because as a capital is not equal, but you are investing on something. You're investing on something. I think it start from us. It start from us, and then the values won't go anywhere, I guess. Even though all the mainstream trying to do, there's always a special connection with the modest brand. There's always special, pride. That's why, like, what we need to do is just to embrace our market more. When someone from mainstream come and say, hey, I know how to make modest fashion better, I can say, because I was coming from mainstream fashion, I can say the rules is not the same. The approach is totally different. if you win mainstream fashion with that way, doesn't mean you can win modest fashion market. You know, modest fashion has a very specific approach, has a very, what is that, special connection, this kind of thing. You know, I hope this is, we will try to keep it alive. You know, some people were saying, why we call it modest fashion, just say it fashion, just say it fashion. I say, why? I mean, it's special, it is special. You know, you cannot try to just saying, okay, you know, I just want people to call it fashion, then what? You know, then what? You know, this is a market that created by us, the one who wear it, right? We are modest people, we wear it. That's the reason why we have it. And then this is also the source of income of a lot of brands, a lot of startups, a lot of women entrepreneurs, self-funded women entrepreneur. Why would you want to just call it fashion and just leave it to capitalists like that? You know what I mean? Right? Sometimes people just say like that, you know, just like, okay, why we need to call it modest? Why? Let it be modest fashion. It's our business. It's woman-led business, you know. Women create it because they need it, and then they really do amazing work, right? Like, I met a lot of community from different countries. I know how amazing they are. Everyone is amazing. That's why I'm a very natural person. I support everyone. You know, the one who has a good intention to support modest fashion, I really support. But the one who was saying why we need to do, why we need to call modest fashion and everything just because it's already famous, I just say, you forgot what is it actually. It's not just a style. It's really like a movement from women for women. You know, a movement, a business, you know, something that really we can say, proudly say, modest fashion is here because of women. That's it. I want to say, actually, since long time. I mean, I have been. I can say I create things since I was 5 years old. I did a lot of things. I did jingle song. I was writing in for a TV, those kind of things. Since I was very young, you know, like I am behind the scene person. You know, like what I see, why modest fashion really deserve to be heard is because I am amazed on how women make this industry exist, you know. It's really women empowered. That's why I say if people are saying modest fashion is some sort of, what is that, oppressing women, I say no. Actually, modest fashion is some sort of rebel. It's a punk, it's a rebel revolution. Like for example, right, like for example, when they say, hey, women, if they want to look pretty, just open more and be more sexy, we say no, we covered ourselves, right? And then when they say in mainstream fashion, if you want to be authority in fashion, you need to be, have this education, this one who you are, you need to be like this, you know. And then we say no, we create, we just like entrepreneurs, hard worker, creating. That's it. You know, we don't need those kind of thing, you know, on behind us. When someone was saying, for example, someone meet me right in Dubai, and then they were saying like, oh, you are, it's you are the founder. You are very simple. I thought you someone behind you. I said no, we just like, you know, crazy woman who like to you know make the vision come true, and we like to hard work, and then see we do with our own hand, and it happens, and it become some sort of global brand, you know. It's very organic, and then we can say, look, we can create something big um, from women entrepreneur, you know. We don't have anyone huge behind us or any big corporation, whatever. So it means women can do a lot of things, you know. Women can do a lot of things. And then we are rebel in fashion, I can say. That's why maybe some mainstream fashion people also kind of get disturbed. Who is this modest fashion, who is it, right? Like, who are you, those kind of thing, right? Why you are in the news? Well, we are in the news because the fact is a lot of women like to wear covered. They don't like to be dictated by your one way, you know form of beauty, you were saying. Right, for a long time you were saying open more, because I wear hijab on before, I wear hijab 2013. Before that I was, I don't wear hijab, but I like to wear modest, I like to wear my skirt like under my knee, those kind of thing, like Audrey Hepburn style. People was looking at me weird, like, why you don't wear, mini whatever, and a lot of people like me, a lot of people like me, and then actually, but they don't find the answer now after modest fashion. I think it's some sort of answer, like women also can, including the one who doesn't wear hijab, also can cover themselves, and they look nice, and they also have power. It's not oppressed. It's not like one way, what is that, one way vision that, okay, if you wear covered it means you're oppressed, someone telling you. We said no, we don't, we are entrepreneur, we make our business, right, those kind of thing. Modest fashion are actually a lot of challenges. For example, for us to expand to other country is a challenge logistically, and then also now sometimes when you become bigger also you forget what is your intention before, right? Like, I know quite a lot of company when they were smaller, they know what is actually their goal, their intention. By the time they are becoming bigger, they just copy the small ones, or they just eat the small ones. When people talk about modest fashion, directly they say billion-dollar industry, because it's all the time everyone is saying that. But I can say, as much as the same with other businesses, it's not that easy. When I first enter, I also expect more modest approach from other businessmen, but it's not, you know. Reality business is business, so just be careful on the steps, and then just understand that in the end it's a business, and then they need to understand why modest is exists in the first place, not just, okay, I just provide covered clothes and that kind of thing. They need to care about the values, they need to really touch the right what is that, story, so people can accept it. I have met a lot of people who want, for example, make an e-commerce, and they come to me and they speak. I just want to say that, hey, it's not that easy actually. A lot of brands is already die actually, I can say, because they are taking the wrong approach. So just be aware of this, then more listen to people, and then more collaborative, but also understand that in the end it's a business. It's a business 100%. So yeah, like that. So try to kind of create solution, but not really directly come to the industry and want to be leader. This is one thing, because I met quite a lot this kind of people. Like, first they don't do modest, suddenly they do modest, but directly with the approach, I can do better because I have this background, blah blah blah, you know what I mean. But it's a totally different market. It's a totally different market, and then honesty is everything, trust is everything. So please do it with the right approach. please do it with the right people. Me personally, the one, if I see someone is trying to do something good and I see sincerity, I really want to support. I like to support people, because I think we need to be like this to make the industry stronger. We are stronger together, but not as someone just come and suddenly, oh, I want to be the king of this area, or this, you know what I mean? A lot of them like they don't even wear it. You know what I mean? They don't even know why it happens. That's why sometimes I say don't directly come and directly with your capitalist approach like that. I was saying, I directly will say like that. I mean, you need to know why people doing it. It's not like, okay, I know your background. Maybe you are an amazing professional, right? You have your amazing background, but doesn't mean you can easily win the area without listening. You know what I mean? You need to listen, understand, collaborative, create the trust, those things, I guess. Don't know how to do it. They just kind of guessing. That's why, like, from my part, for example, I become the advisor. So what I do is I advise, okay, this is okay, this is not, and then they're asking why. Is it like this because it's oppressed? No, then I need to explain it, and then in the end, actually, they understand. In the end, actually, they understand. It depends. I mean, like, some brands, maybe they just think hijab as accessory, which is not. So at that time, I was showing, okay, this is misappropriation, this is okay, this is not okay, then I give the sample and they say why. Okay, for example, you are matching hijab with sexy clothes. It's not modest fashion anymore because modest fashion is covered. Modest fashion is not transparent. It's not, shaping the body, those kind of thing. I say in the end, even you try to show it, people know it's not modest fashion, so it's useless. I say like that. And then I understand. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, yeah. So please don't say that hijab means modest fashion. Modest fashion is the whole look, those kind of thing. So I think it's like that. What we need to do is we just need to educate people more because they don't understand about it. I see, for example, one of the brand, I think it's from Brazil or something. They are creating modest fashion collection with latex, very tight fitting, like Catwoman kind of thing, because they don't understand. They just think it's covered. But they don't know. Strategic things like, for example, my event, or someone who has voice is very important to show which one is okay, which one is not, right? I can say, for example, my event, like our event, someone wants to approach to buy the event, right? Interested to, but we see he doesn't even understand what is it modest fashion. He doesn't even understand the value, and then we say, if we give this throne to you, then you may mislead everyone. You may lead everyone to understand wrong stuff. Our responsibility, if for example you are influencer with big numbers, try to explain, you know what I mean? Sometimes we try to cope up so much, we try to be accepted so much with the mainstream, then we forget our identity. That's why, like, I try my best to show them, yes, I'm a hijabi, yes, I'm Asian. As being Asian, you have also your challenges, right? You have, maybe the black community has challenges, Asian also, maybe you also has it. So I try to make my voice heard, even though I'm the only Muslim in the project. I say no, it's like this, like this, and people sometimes they just like, oh, what happened? Are you dislike this one? Are you racist? Are you? No, I said I really explain in a logic way what is it, how is it, it just because they don't understand, so we need to educate them. like that. Say faith is a very huge role with me. I mean, in my life, for example, I'm very I'm very believer. You see
Believer,
that,
like,
like when you are doing like huge things, like my event, our event, for example. There's a lot of unpredictable things happen all the time. Sometimes we have the challenges where suddenly the permit for our event is not arrived on the event day. Then you need to be calm, right? And then you're thinking, okay, why I get this kind of test? Okay, then maybe Allah wants me to remember that there is an X factor that actually deciding everything. No matter how perfect is my plan, there's always, Allah has always tried to remind me, hey, this is not because of you, because it happens because I allow this. So that's why I always try not to do wrong things or something that I can say Almighty God doesn't like. I try my best, and then I always try to clean my heart. Like when I do something, like I don't have envy. I try my best not to have envy. I try my best to use the what is that responsibility that you know for example, people know you is actually it's a responsibility that Allah give you, right? Like why Allah allow you to be known by people, for example, or you are in media or something, because maybe Allah wants you to do something, right? So I try my best like that. I try my best not to use that only for my sake, only for so I'm famous. No, I try my best to give back. I try my best to educate people. Like first time in the past when I was in mainstream, I was heading one of a national competition of design, and people are saying, Franka, you're the nicest fashion person we ever met. So the contestant, everyone was saying like that. And I was saying, why? What happened? And then I realized fashion is not a very friendly world. Sometimes people really pretend to be accepted in fashion. This kind of thing. We have this arrogance kind of thing. Then I said to myself, if one day I get the opportunity to be known, I will try to change it. Right now, I get more simple, than before. Like for example, I educate about rewear your clothes, wear again, it's okay, rewear your clothes. I tell again about fashion should can do good things to others, can give back to, for example, refugee project, disabled project, empowering new talents. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. When I see some strong people or other women that have great intention, I also try to empower them, to support them. So I think this is playing a big role because I feel now, Alhamdulillah, right now, whatever I do, I feel my heart is some sort of clean. Like I don't, it's very light. It's very light. I think I'm in the right way. In the past, of course, there is a process, right? There is a process. I wasn't this wise before. That's why, like, a lot of tests, whatever. Then now I already say, okay, I have this thing, what I can do, what I can use my voice for. Like, I'm not influencer. I always say I'm not influencer. I'm just a platform maker. The star is you, I can say like that. I'm just supporting. That's my role. And then how I can make this industry better, how we can you know that's why like I share everything in my book, I can say. My book is pretty deep. I share all the findings. So So yeah, so I say one day, for example, if Allah say to me, Franca, your time in modest fashion is finished, I said it's okay. I can start other other thing because I did before already. I did music. I did screenwriting. I did journalism. I always know how to start from zero and do again. So if I ask myself, do I have ambition? Am I ambitious woman? I said no. Right now, Allah give me this opportunity, maybe because of a reason. So if my mission, Allah say it's finished, then it's okay. I can do other stuff. Give my success for Aki Festus. Okay, salam.